Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our science class today. Today we are going to start chapter 3, Adaptations in Animals. We have already learned in the first chapter regarding adaptations in plants, and that is why we can already have an idea regarding the word adaptation, its meaning and its procedures. And then also we have known about habitat, right? So let us start today the new chapter. Here we will discuss the adaptation procedures in animals. In the first chapter we have learned about the adaptation procedure in plants, but here we will learn about the way of adaptation that the animals have adapted. Let us start from page number 24. First of all of you will take your pencil and write down the answers in the part stepping stones. Here the names of some animals are given and you will have to write down just beside it in the blank space where they live, whether they are flying in the air or they are living on land or they are swimming in water. In that way, you will write it down by yourself. All of you will do this activity in your book. And now we will proceed towards the chapter. Like plants, animals are found everywhere on the earth. We know that. They are adapted to survive in their surroundings. When there are changes in the surroundings, such as the change in climate, animals also have to change their place and behavior to survive. This process of changing to survive in the environment is known as adaptation. So this very definition is already known to us only in the circumstances of plants. Right. We already have known what is adaptation. Adaptation is the change in your behavior or in your lifestyle just to make yourself fit in your atmosphere, in your surroundings, so that you can live properly in that locality, in that atmosphere, in that surrounding. And that particular changes in your behavior, in your lifestyle, in your body, this is called adaptation. It may be applicable to plants. They can also modify their body, their way of life, and it may be equally applicable to animals. They can also modify in their own way to sustain, to live properly in that atmosphere. This is called adaptation. Now, habitat. What is habitat? The natural home of an animal is called its habitat. The same way we have learnt the natural home of a plant is called habitat. The same way the natural home of an animal is called habitat. So animals depend on their habitat to obtain food, to keep themselves safe, to reproduce for the next generation, and also to build homes. Right? So that is habitat. Now we will go to the next page. So now let us go to page number 25, adaptation to environment. Here we will discuss about the adaptation habit of the animals. So as per their adaptation habit, as per their habitat, we can define different types of animals, and there are five major groups in which we can divide the animals. And according to their habitat, we can define them as different names like terrestrial animals, aquatic animals, amphibians, arboreal animals, and aerial animals. So like the plants, animals can be divided into five major groups as per their habitat and as per their way of adaptation. Okay. So what will be the first example that comes to our mind whenever we are discussing adaptation? The first animal that comes to our mind is camel. Okay. So a camel has so many changes in his body which help them to adapt to his habitat. So what is the habitat of a camel? We all of us know that. We know that very well. That is the desert. So desert is full of sand. So to adjust in that sand area, which is very much unlike the normal land areas where we live in, camel used to make so many changes. Camel is actually born with those changes in his body. And these changes help him for adaptation. Okay. So now we will discuss the major divisions of animals. 5 major groups are there. First we will discuss terrestrial animals. I hope all of you can remember terrestrial plants we read in the first chapter. In a similar way, we will read terrestrial animals here. So animals that live on land, they are called terrestrial animals. So who are the terrestrial animals? Animals that live on land. Now they have specific qualities, particular qualities, which help them to adapt their habitat, to adjust in their habitat. So for adjustment, what are the features that are given in their body? Let us start from the very first one. They have well-developed sense organs. Which are the sense organs in our body? Our eyes, our ears, our nose, all these, our skin, all these are our sense organs. So what is the function of sense organ in our body? They help them to sense different types of feelings. So these terrestrial animals, they have very well developed sense organs. And these sense organs help them to hunt, to collect their food, to protect themselves from the enemies, and above all to adjust in their habitat. Like they have legs which help them to move from one place to another. Okay. But snakes, animals like snakes, they don't have legs. We know that. So how do they move? They used to crawl, and they're using their skin to crawl. In the same way, they have lungs to breathe. This is also one feature in their body. And not only that, they have different type of body coverings. Like some of them are having scales on their body, like fish. Some of them are having hair on their body. Some of them are having fur on their body. So all these things are adjusted in their body, are adapted in their body, are the features in their body which help them for adaptation. Now, which are the major examples of terrestrial animals? I hope all of you can say this. If we are in the class, all of you should raise your hand and tell me these are the terrestrial animals. So now here I am telling you which are the terrestrial animals. Like tigers, like pigs, like horses, elephants, cows, dogs, so many are there. All of them are terrestrial animals. Okay. So there are some terrestrial animals. Some terrestrial animals are there who had to adjust, who had to survive in a very extreme climate. Okay. Which are the extreme climate? In desert, we used to have an extreme climate. Now, what is the meaning of extreme climate? Too much hot or too much cold, right? In the polar regions, there also we can face the extreme climate. Too much cold, 24-hour snowfall. All these things are extreme climates examples. So now we will start with the first one, that is the desert. So deserts, what is the first thought that used to come to our mind whenever I'm saying desert? The only thing that we can see after closing our eyes whenever we are hearing desert is sand. Okay. So what is the atmosphere in desert? During daytime it's too hot, and during night it is too cold. Okay. And there is the scarcity of food and water. We all know that in desert that is a visible feature over there. So those animals who are living in deserts, they are adapted. They are adapted to some specific qualities. They are adapted to some specific features. Which are those features? They conserve their water in their body. So in their body, they used to conserve, that is store water. They have that feature. They can survive on very less amount of food and water. That is another feature that they are having. Next is they can protect themselves from extreme hot and extreme cold atmosphere conditions. Let us go to page number 26. The first picture that is coming to our mind whenever we are describing desert is camel. That is the most important animal which is visible in desert. So now we will discuss about camel. So a camel lives in a desert and it can survive without food and water for many days. It has a thick skin and scanty hair to protect itself from hot and cold conditions. Since it is very hot during the day in deserts, many desert animals such as snakes, lizards, they are active only during dawn and dusk. That is at the beginning of the morning or at the beginning of the evening. These 2 hours are the time when they are active. And some animals are there like desert rats, which are only active during the night. Okay, so they don't go out during the daytime. They cannot survive in that hot summer days, every time available in the desert. During the day, these animals sleep in either their den or in their cave or in their burrow. They used to take rest over there. And in the morning hours, first hours of morning or the beginning of the evening, they will come out and they will move. Or some of them are moving only during the night. So this is the feature of the desert animal. And camel is the most important example of desert animal. Now let us proceed to polar regions, another harsh climate available area. That is, extreme climate can be available in polar regions. The north and south poles are covered with ice throughout the year. Throughout the year, these places are covered with ice. Not a single time of the year. It is throughout the year. These are the coldest places on the earth. We know that. There is very little food available in these regions. Polar bear, Arctic fox, and penguin are some animals that live in polar regions. So these are the examples which are living in the polar regions. Now, polar bear inhabits the North Pole. Where do they live? They live in the North Pole. Now we will discuss about the adaptations that is available in the body of polar bear. They also have some adaptation qualities by which they can easily live in that harsh climate of North Pole. So the first one that we are discussing is it has a dense layer of fur that protects it from cold. Very necessary. Since they are having that dense layer of fur, it is easy for them to survive in that cold. The fur keeps its body warm. So this fur is helpful to keep its body warm. The next one is under the skin, polar bear has a thick layer of fat. It is a thick layer of fat and it is called blubber. This thick layer of fat keeps their body warm. And in addition, it also serves as a source of energy during winter. When they are not getting food and they need energy, from this thick layer of fat, they can get the required energy. So this is very important feature in the body of polar bear, which help them to sustain in that harsh climate of North Pole. The paws of the polar bears have small and soft bumps. And how does it help them? It helps them so that they will not sleep on the whenever they are walking on the ice, because they used to walk on the ice. Since throughout the year it is full of snow and ice, they had to. So these feature of their paw that helps them to move on the ice. They don't slip down. They have an acute sense of smell. Unless and until they are having this feature, it is not possible for them to find their food, because this sense of smell that helps them to find their prey, that is to find their food from the thick sheet of ice. So most of the time they are hiding under the thick sheet of ice, and this acute sense of smell helps them to find out their food from that place. So that is the important discussion about the features of the polar bear who are living in the polar regions. You will read it thoroughly, you will learn the features. Another important example who are living in this polar region, mainly in the South Pole, is penguin. Okay, they also have a thick layer of fat in their bodies, the same way blubber, and that also keeps their body warm, and that also helps them to sustain in that extreme cold conditions. They huddle together to keep warm in freezing temperatures. So nice, isn't it? They used to move one place to another together to keep themselves warm in freezing temperature. Now we will discuss another animal, that is a musk ox, that lives in the extremely cold tundra region, and they are also having thick shaggy hair throughout their body, which provides protection from the cold condition. So that hair is to help them to save from the cold conditions of the region. When attacked by predators, predators means those who used to eat them. For those, this animal is a prey. Oxen run to nearby higher ground and then form a circle together to attack them. So by making a circle in a combined group way, they used to attack the predator. So that's all about the animals in the polar regions. Now there is one activity given in page number 27. You will read this activity. It will help you to know what is the use of the layer of fat in the body of these animals. So what they have said, this activity will help us to know how blubber helps the animals live in polar regions in preventing cold. Take a bowl of ice cold water, dip your finger in it. How does it feel? You will feel the extreme cold and you will feel as if there is no sense in your finger. It will become totally numb. Now take your finger out, put a layer of butter on your finger. Keep it in your normal temperature and make a coating of butter on your finger and then dip your finger inside that ice cold water. How you will feel the difference? You will not feel that much cold. The way you were feeling in the previous time in bare finger, you will not feel that much cold because that layer of butter, that is the fat, is giving you a protection. That is helping your finger to face that too much cold ice water. Okay, so this activity is important. Now we will discuss aquatic animals. So let us move to page number 27. Here we will see aquatic animals. Now aquatic animals, we have already learnt about aquatic plants. Aquatic animals means animals living in the water like turtle, ducks, fish, whale, dolphin, all of them are aquatic animals. So they are adapted to which feature? Let us take a quick visit. They can move easily in the water. They can breathe in water and they can prevent water from being absorbed into their bodies. So these are the main three features. Number one is moving easily. Number two is breathing in water. Number three is without getting absorbed, without being absorbed. The water is not being absorbed in their bodies. Now we will discuss the individual feature. That is the crabs. They are having gills and that help them to breathe under the water. Turtles, they are having paddle-like limbs. Okay, they are having a different type of limbs. Can you see the picture of turtle? They are having a totally different type of limbs. And the ducks, they are having webbed feet. We already know that. And all these help them to move inside the water, easily move inside the water. Now regarding fish, fish has a totally streamlined body. Okay, and it helps them to move easily in water. Let us go to page number 28. And the fins that is visible on the body of the fish, they help them to swim and maintain the balance inside the water. And the tail of these animals, they also help them to change the direction of their movement inside the water. So all these parts of the body, they're having different functions. And with the help of these body parts, they can easily move in their habitat. Now, what is their habitat? Water is their habitat. So they can easily move inside the water. Sometimes they're taking the help of the gills. Sometimes they're taking the help of the fin. Sometimes they're taking the help of the tail. Okay. So what is the use of gill? I have already told you. Gills help them to breathe. They take in the oxygen dissolved in water. The oxygen is already dissolved in water and the gills help them to take it, absorb it. And some aquatic animals like whales and dolphins, they have lungs. They are the exceptions. Instead of gills, they use lungs for breathing. Now, some of the time it is visible that they come up to the surface for water for the purpose of breathing. Okay, but most of the time aquatic animals spend their entire life in water and their body is already adapted to those features which help them to live in the water, under the water or inside the water. And let us take the example of fish. Its body is totally covered with scales. Okay, so it means it is waterproof. These scales are making its body waterproof. So all these are features of aquatic animals. Now we will discuss a particular type of animal, that is amphibians. Regarding amphibians, what is the feature? What is the definition of amphibians? Animals, those who can live both in land and in water. They are called amphibians. And the most important examples are toads and frogs and salamanders also. These are the examples of amphibians. Okay. So when they are on the land, when the amphibians are on land, they breathe with their lungs. And when they are inside the water, how do they breathe? They breathe through their skin. And one more feature is there. These amphibians, these animals have folds of skin between the fingers of their feet. So these folds are called waves. You will learn the definition. What is waves? Okay. And these type of feet help them to swim inside the water. So that's all about aquatic animals. Okay. You will learn the diagrams also. You will have to draw the diagrams also. Next is arboreal animals. Now what is arboreal animals? The animals which used to spend most of the times on the trees. They are called arboreal animals. So very important examples are monkeys, orangutans and tree lizards. They used to spend most of the time of their life on the trees. Okay. And they have what features they have which help them to live on the trees. They have strong claws, muscular limbs. These are the main features which help them to stay on the leaves. Squirrels, another example, squirrels who is having a flexible joint in their ankle, that also help them to quickly move up and going down from the trees. Okay. So that's all about the arboreal animals. One more thing is important here, that is the prehensile tail. Now what is a prehensile tail? A prehensile tail is a particular type of tail used as a fifth limb. All these animals have 4 limbs and this tail is used as the 5th limb, which helps them to hold onto the branches while swinging from one tree to another. Very easily visible in the picture of spider monkey. You can see that on the picture. It helps them, even in the opossum also it is given, it helps them to hold on to the branches and they can easily swing from one tree to another. So that's all about arboreal animals. And the next one is aerial animals. Aerial animals are those who are able to fly. So animals that fly are called aerial animals. Very easily we can give the example. The first thing that comes to our mind is, yes, birds. Birds are the aerial animals. And one more example is there, that is bats. So bats cannot be included in the group of birds, so it is given as a separate one. So birds, bats, these are the examples of aerial animals. So they have what feature they have which help them to fly? Yes, they have wings. And not only that, they don't have any 4 limbs like others. Exactly. So the birds don't have 4 limbs, okay? And their 4 limbs are actually modified into wings with feathers. So they have wings with feathers. And they also have hollow bones, which makes their body very light and that helps them to fly. So these feathers of their body, they also help them to keep warm. And the way they are having this ability to fly, they can travel from one place to another, that is a long distance, in a very short time. And they had to fly, not move, from one place to another in search of food. Okay. So that's all about birds. Now regarding bats, they don't have any feathers on their wings. What they have? They have wings which is made of thin layers of skin. And these are stretched across the arms and the fingers. Okay. Some other examples of aerial animals are insects. So in aerial animals, we can also include some insects apart from bird and bat. So that's all about aerial animals. I think we have finished the groups. So that's all for today. I'm giving you some diagrams that you will draw, you will practice. And I'm giving you some definitions also, short questions also. Okay, you will prepare all of them. And in the next class, we will finish the leftover chapter. Okay, so that's all for today. Take care. Keep well.